welcome back to Read the Room podcast. It's your girl Mer.
It's Embria. Hello, welcome back.
Nice to see. Nice for y'all to hear us again.
Again.
Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to our last episode regarding our 1 year anniversary of being podcast hosts.
Very exciting times.
Mm-hmm.
We were a little bit late on that because it was actually May, but anyways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reviews and all of that. We're grateful.
Yeah.
We haven't done a sweet tea in a long time, and this sweet tea is the least sweet of all.
Yeah.
For anyone who's new to the podcast, every now and again we'll do a sweet tea episode, which is basically us weighing in on something that's going on in the world. Usually it's us taking a productive look or lens at, some drama going on. But now it's like the tea is not really sweet this time. We're going to talk about the latest with Bill Cosby.
Yes.
So you want to explain what the thing was that was going on? Or?
I honestly don't know the background. I just know that he got out of jail after being convicted for sexually assaulting an employee at Temple University.
So did he actually get out already, or were they saying he might get out soon? I know that.
I don't know if maybe they're still processing.
Okay, because people were posting. Somebody said that they were posting a video, but it was that same one of him from.
No, I think it's
walking
probably
out.
Just getting all the paperwork together.
Okay. Okay. Boom. So
either way, he's getting out.
Okay. So basically, he was, like you said, he was convicted of sexual assault for an act that took place in 2004 with a employee at Temple University. He was serving his sentence, and of course, I think it's just standard, when you get convicted or when things don't go your way in the law generally, you just appeal and appeal and appeal. Right. And that's exactly what they did. And they got to the Supreme Court of whatever state this is in, I think Pennsylvania. And they actually said, okay. And that is very, very, very uncommon for an appeal to be, acknowledged in such a way.
But considering there's a rapist currently on the Supreme Court bench,
perhaps the girls shouldn't be as surprised. I don't know. I just feel like to overturn a conviction.
Two rapists, actually.
Thomas, too, was doing... Okay, so...
That was a huge case back in the day.
Yeah, that's wild. But, I don't know. A conviction being overturned, it feels strong. But I think I was considering, and I haven't gotten to read the full opinion yet, but my understanding of what happened was that he was being convicted for sexually assaulting this one lady. Mm-hmm. And generally in a criminal case, overall, you're not allowed to bring in mention of acts that someone did to other people. Yeah. So if I punched you, I can't bring in evidence that I slapped somebody else. Because it's that's separate. But one exception to that rule is you can bring it in if it's to show a pattern. So if it's okay, every day when somebody gets off work, I go to their car and I steal something. They could be okay, this is how she systemically does this type of thing. So supposedly, the lawyers going against Bill Cosby were bringing in evidence of other women who he sexually assaulted. And their argument was, this is how he does things. He will take a woman on and he'll make her a mentee of his, and then he'll start to sexually assault her, etc. Woo-woo. Yeah. So, again, I haven't read the opinion, but according to sources, the opinion says that he shouldn't have been allowed to do that. The other side should not have been able to bring in mention of him sexually assaulting other women, saying that tainted the case.
But if it's facts... a pattern.
I mean, okay, but I think that's the argument. They probably disagree with the fact that proves a pattern. Maybe they're saying the facts are too different.
So if they're saying that, he definitely assaulted her, but you can't say he assaulted these other people while you're talking about how he assaulted her.
Yes, and that sounds crazy to say, but the rules of evidence are just so specific that, yeah, the premise of it is, and okay, I think that one like general misunderstanding about the conviction being overturned, it doesn't mean that he is going to be exonerated for certain. It just means they're probably going to have to retry the case. So they would have to start from the beginning. And then the fact that he is as old as he is and he's already served 2 years, I personally wouldn't be surprised if they chose not to pursue it. So then he would walk free. But if he doesn't walk free, then they just start over. So it's not like justice as we would foresee it being served will be served in any way in this case. Like, it's already beyond that point. Like, it's already, the conviction's overturned. So
I think the law is very it lacks intelligence a lot of times because he's confessed to the things that he's done. But so it's like I never understand like the discrepancy and things. I know there's like rules and whatever the case may be, but it's like, yeah, these rules are made so you can keep bad people out of jail. It doesn't necessarily work to the advantage of people that are usually in the victim space.
It doesn't. It's, I don't know, the law is so interesting and so double-sided because you think of it, say this was in the 1960s and there was a black man who stole from a corner store. A prosecutor, a white person would be like, okay, you stole from the store. Let me mention that 18 other times that they said that you stole from the store.
Yeah.
And then at that point, regardless if that's the one time that you didn't steal from the store, they're going to be like, you're a thief. Like, so we're going to say that you're guilty for it. So in a situation like that, that's the other end of it where you don't want to bring in other instances. But I feel like in a case of sexual assault, that's different than something like petty theft. Yeah. Like, I don't know. And I don't know what became of the other people who were saying that he sexually assaulted them. Like, I don't know what the impetus was behind bringing the case with this woman. Like, why was she the named
probably because they had like the most evidence. Because all of the cases are like from the 60s.
A long time ago.
70s, 80s,
hers was 2004. So
to prove that case. Or even though people could know, everybody know, whatever, but it was so long ago. They're like, damn.
That's another thing that's so difficult about the law and the legal process in general. Like, is her word against his. Yeah. And everyone who came before, it's especially their word against his. And then even if there's a bunch of evidence, the rules of evidence are just so specific. Like, okay, you can't bring in this thing if it was that. You can't, like... Yeah. I took evidence too, and it was a catastrophe because it's just so much stuff that can't come in for like the weirdest reasons. But all of that to say, the victim in this case, the likelihood of her seeing the justice that we will all want her to see, from my perspective, is not as likely. Unless they retry the case and they're like, all right, okay, the same sentence. But his sentence last time was 3 to 10 years. He served 2 years. Yeah. Like, what are we... Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care how old he is. I think they should do it.
You're like, all right, run it back.
He died. It doesn't matter. Like, keep his ass in the court until he fucking died on the stand or something. That's my theory behind that.
On the stand,
you can't just do that to like, what was some crazy, like 60 women or something like that.
It was that many?
It was a lot. One is enough.
Yeah.
Start there, but it was in the double digits for sure.
That's insane.
So, he deserves to see the inside of the Earth's crust right now. Man, it's stuff like this. If he was in like India or something, they would have stoned him to death as soon as he got convicted. You know, sometimes I'd be like, their laws are too extreme.
But in some cases, it's like, oh, that was a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so this whole Bill Cosby thing, I feel like, brings to light certain concepts that we've already discussed on the podcast and that we all understand, like, in society at large. But this is just placing a, telescope or microscope, whatever, on it. So the concept that rich people can get away with things. I feel like this is the like a prime example of that. And even though, like in this case, everybody probably felt relatively decent until like now. It was like, okay, he was convicted, he's serving his time, like boom, justice is served.
Yeah.
But for him to have, these must be some great lawyers for them to
Or
get
got a lot of money to give to the lawyer, but that's judges, and everybody can be bought. That's the problem with the justice, and everybody can be bought. Even though they already make decent money, it's like you give them a little extra 20 grand here.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm sure they're going to be investigating into, you know, the underlying everything in this. Even if there's no judicial like indiscretions, just for him to be able to be in prison affording this constant legal support, like you in there for 2 years and there's been people fighting your case still out the whole time. Like, what? How comfortable? How easy? So me and you were talking about this before, like there's a bunch of celebrities and rich people who get away with things for their money, and I was not in tune with this, but supposedly a bunch of NFL people,
they beat on their spouses all the time. It's an open secret. They'll get, you'll get fined here. You miss a game here, but do they ever get kicked off? No, because they're much more valuable on the field. Whatever happens behind the, scenes, they're supposed to keep that under the rug. You're not supposed to get caught beating your spouse in the elevator per se, or letting that shit get out. And when it does, they just do a whole bunch of damage control. Oh, they're suspended for whatever, and then once we forget, they just like.
That's a good point.
Go ahead and put them back in there, because we have our own lives, so not everybody's just like keeping up on shit. So it's like really hard to hold them accountable when these big corporations are just like letting their benefit go.
Yeah, but from a financial standpoint, they're like, all right, we could either make millions off you or we could cancel you, and then our whole institution goes downhill. It's common theme also on the podcast is like capitalism and how it always wins. Like
every day,
how it reigns supreme
consistently every day.
Yeah. O.J. Simpson was another.
Yeah, he needs to be
example.
In jail. Well, he went to jail for other stuff, but he should have been in jail for what he did.
I feel like that was one instance where justice was backhandedly served. I don't know if you have seen like the second case. So
which one?
He killed, what's her name?
Nicole.
Okay, yes, he so obviously killed her.
The guy
and the dude
who had nothing to do with nothing.
And nothing at all. Like,
and that's the sad part, because I was listening to a podcast about his sister talking about his dad. It was just so sad.
Oh yeah, you're just like a innocent bystander just to this real toxic.
And then you just die.
That's awful. Okay, but the first case was him murdering people, and he got off. But then years later, he was in Vegas, and I don't know what he was doing, selling like his signature. It was something that he was doing that was so minuscule, but they put him away for so many years. Like, it was like, okay, we all understand that that's overkill, but we all understand that he literally killed somebody and got off. Yeah. So whoever that judge was, people were probably just like, okay, true. Like, that's fine. You can do that. Another rich person I have getting away with things, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Just
probably got a whole lot of people on payroll. So that, I mean, granted, he's like going through all the proceedings now, but like back in the day,
I didn't know what the latest was about that.
I don't really pay attention. Last I heard, he had COVID. I was like, thank God.
You're like, take him.
Yeah, I hope that. I was hoping that would just take him over the edge, but yeah, he's like not convicted, but he's like going through like the whole justice system thing that they got going on. So hopefully there's a good outcome for that, but like, who knows?
Yeah. In the same vein, like on the same topic of rich people being able to get away with things, it makes me think about how much people worship celebrities. Have you been on social media today?
What happened?
People responded to Bill Cosby like 50.
They was doing that before.
They were, but it's just, somebody made a good point on my timeline. They had responded to someone else being like, Bill is free, whatever, whatever. And he was like, y'all were not Bill Cosby fans before this whole thing went down.
They're just anti-women.
They're just anti-women.
Misogyny is what bonds them.
Literally,
that's the glue that keeps, in particular, black men going.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Misogyny, whew.
Yeah, it makes me think.
It's like going to summer camp for them.
Yeah, they're like, oh, somebody said that you assaulted them and you got off. Like, okay, like, boom, yeah, you got. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't understand what the logic is behind it. Like, I don't understand why they.
There is no logic.
I mean, I don't understand.
You just hate women. That's it.
I don't understand how they rationalize it to themselves. I feel like the sentiment is like, ooh, they tried to hold you down and you prevailed. I feel like this reminds me of the Meg situation, Meg the Stallion, who was shot by Tory Lanez. Yeah. And people came out like, ooh, Tory is free. Like,
no, what? Damn well they don't listen to Tory Lanez.
Nope.
No one listens to Tory Lanez. Only reason was like, cause like there would be a song of, you know, it come on the radio. Oh, this kind of rocking, but who is like? Let me go on Google search Tory Lanez. Go to an album, purchase it on iTunes. No one was doing that.
I admit his like mixtape stuff was decent, but he's the type of person who just flip somebody beat that's already good and then get to do.
He wasn't even doing anything miraculous or super new, innovative in the music industry. Granted, you don't have to do that to go into business. Like all the support, the love is coming because you just don't like women, and you don't even. Motherfuckers wasn't even talking about Meg, thinking about Meg, but as soon as the Tory thing, now you on Tory's side because of what? You hate women.
He gained a lot of fans based on, I don't know, what is it? A woman saying something bad happened to her. Men have to gang together to be like, no, it didn't. What are y'all saying? Or we need to know both sides. Or they're just trying to.
They're haters. That's pretty much how you describe men. Because you ask them to give you a reason, they don't give you a reason. All of a sudden, it's Blue Lives Matter when black women are at the, are the victims in situation. But when they die, you ain't got to hear shit. Yeah. And then, let's be honest, some of them niggas be having long ass rap sheets. And they be like, okay, maybe. But when it comes to the women, you don't get no type of grace.
None.
It's zero. Like we just don't believe you. But for them.
On the topic of like having long rap sheets and basically things getting swept under the rug, this ties into the celebrity culture thing too. It's so many celebrities, and then we'll tie this into everyday life too, but there's so many celebrities who were known for doing terrible things and it just got swept under the rug. For instance, Robert Kelly, R. Kelly, everybody knows, and as a Chicago native, I know everybody knew what he was doing.
A lot of people saw that tape. I don't know how they saw that tape, and I've never seen the tape. I've only ever heard about it, but people saw it and was like, "Hey, okay."
I've never seen it either, but do you know that I remember as a child, people selling it like in the beauty shop and at the barbershop? Yeah, it was like, "Oh, did you see that?"
I heard that's something that happened. So I'm like, y'all really sat there and did that.
That's a thing. That's a thing. Everybody knew. Like, there's even one of our line sisters has a story about going to a club and she was young and R. Kelly being there and being kind of like, okay, I want this one and give these ones drinks. And, he just moved like a predator. Exactly. And people just swept it under the rug in the name of what?
Stepping. That's in the name of stepping in the name of love and all that. I wish, all them songs. That was literally it. He was really good at what he did. And we can't ever take that away from him. But at the same time, that is what enabled him to do the shit that he did. And to think about, he was talking about little kids. Why is that a discography you want to preserve so damn bad?
Talking about kids. Oh, you're talking about in his
songs. I them little sex songs. You think he's talking about his wife? He talking about little age ain't nothing but a number.
Okay, that's another. Okay, Aaliyah, him being with Aaliyah, like, hello, black community.
She was like 15.
Not? She was so young. Like, hey, 15. Guys, did we not think that was a problem?
Even that, I blame Aaliyah's family for that one too, because
I'm curious what the discussions were and because Aaliyah was talented, and it wasn't like she
Also, it's the thing that the matter is the whole marriage thing is you at that age, your parent is your guardian. How did that even go through? So, like I said, I also in part blame the family for all that shit because his documentary was very.
I still have not watched all those.
They coming out with a part 2 because that's just how violent of a person he is. Okay, now why is Michael Jackson on here?
Didn't he do stuff?
No.
He didn't do nothing.
No. Oh, that was proven like not to be the thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little weird that, he liked being around kids, but I think that's because he never had a childhood.
Okay, so,
see, Michael Jackson.
I thought that he had I didn't think he had did stuff, but then I was like.
Yeah, every time, like, even like the one that was just like recent in the last like 5 years, those that was on Oprah's network. I forgot what it was called. It might have been Surviving. I don't. Oh, something about when Neverland.
Oh yeah.
Something about that, but that quickly went to bed because they like disproved those claims, and it's all about a cash grab. Okay. When it came to Michael Jackson.
Okay, so Michael was not.
No,
he always
just
seemed
really
pleasant
likes
to
to
me
be around children, not
because
like
he didn't have a
not
childhood
in the R. Kelly
himself.
way. He just probably saw the innocence of kids and wanted to be around that. I mean, damn, his daddy was Joe. I would too.
Okay, sorry, Michael. Rest in peace. I didn't.
That's the only person I would ever cape for when it comes to shit like that. Everybody else, yeah.
That's hilarious. It's gonna be in here. So now, why is he not here? We're living and we're learning. Okay. As of recent times, T.I. and his wife Tiny have been in the media for doing some very, I don't know what it was that they were doing, like drugging people.
It was like sexual stuff, like drugging, and then also like they're like violent with them, and stuff like that. I want to say there was something with a minor, but that I would have to go back and check to be for sure. But there was definitely a lot of like drugging and like. You know how like they be talking about celebrity sex parties, that type of lifestyle. Vibe. Yeah,
it's so interesting because in the midst of those claims, Tiny was on a Versus. Girl, what are you doing singing?
That's another segue because when we talk about like people getting away with stuff, it's because platforms give them the way to. In the midst of her going through this, these allegations or whatever the case may be. Here we are saying, look how great she is, and she's so talented, she can sing, and we're all just like, oh, I didn't watch it. But in my part, I'm gonna call myself out because I did watch Bow Wow and Soulja Boy, and they are notorious for being abusers.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Remember Bow Wow with the girl in the elevator?
I remember Bow Wow, but not Soulja Boy.
Yeah,
Soulja Boy?
Him and Nia, Teddy Riley's daughter, somebody him beating her to the point that she had miscarriage.
Soulja Boy, tell him.
Yeah, so even I had to call myself out like, damn, I should have never fucking watched that because then I'm now contributing to the problem.
I'm sick. Okay, you know what?
And apparently he has like multiple allegations like currently.
Not Soulja Boy, tell him. I'm sick. You know what? It's like, okay, we can't support anyone. Somebody had literally asked me. The
only person I really support is Beyonce.
Beyonce, don't do nothing crazy.
My God, don't talk.
Okay, right. Yesterday, someone literally asked me, are you one of those people who doesn't, like, subscribe to the art that, and, like, people who are accused of things or, like, known abusers or whatever, their stuff? Like, do you listen to R. Kelly?
I don't listen to R. Kelly. Once I was like, damn, like really thought about that shit critically. Because all this shit happened when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So at least I have an excuse for bumping that shit when I was younger.
Yeah.
But growing up and then watching that, I'm like, this man
is sick.
Very, very horrible. I really can't just sit there and listen to it. Even like, I'll listen to a playlist on YouTube. Here come R. Kelly. I'm about to scroll past his part.
Okay.
That's how deep it goes for me. I don't listen to him. Like, when I say I don't listen to R. Kelly, I don't listen to R. Kelly.
So R. Kelly is one thing. Mm-hmm. I feel like R. Kelly is I don't have him on my Spotify. It was just like, all right, this is just too much. But then there's people like Chris Brown. Do you listen to Chris Brown?
I try not to.
Soulja Boy.
It will slip in there. No, I really don't listen to
Bow Wow.
Soulja Boy.
Yeah, like it's just certain.
I don't really listen to them niggas anyway.
Some things I don't know. It's hard. Like "Kiss Kiss" by Chris Brown had just like okay. Chris Brown.
I get sucked in like for example with the verses, the nostalgia that sucked me.
That's
in.
yes.
It
like
was
you feel.
Then I was like fuck, because then the conversations were going on in the midst of the verse. I'm like damn, y'all are right, but damn.
It's difficult. Like I would love to be like, yeah, you know what? If anybody who did anything foul ever, whoop, I'm not, boom.
Yeah.
But it's difficult.
Yeah.
To like, I don't know these people. All I know is that the beat to that song was good. I used to have a dance to it. I remember doing this one thing with that song. So it's just difficult. You hold
on to the memories.
It's so difficult. Yeah. In a situation like, okay, am I gonna go to a R. Kelly concert or something great? Like I would never do anything like that. But if I'm at a party and Step in the Name of Love come on, I cannot promise that I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna just step aside or just like stand there.
Of love.
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna do that.
I was somewhere last summer and it came on, and I had already had some Moscato. It's just like ooh this, and that's unfortunate. But like. In that moment, I'm not thinking like this man is an abuser. I'm thinking this is the song we used to play in the backyard of my granny. So like,
I think it's something that we have to actively need to keep working on to eventually just
we need to. The DJs need to band together and stop playing. Because I'm not gonna.
I be telling Scotty like take that off your fucking playlist.
Yeah, then.
Because I be like, bro,
that don't put me.
You know what he's talking about in this song? I think he had an R. Kelly song. I think it was R. Kelly or some other abuser. I forgot which one.
It don't put nobody in a compromising position if the DJ don't play it.
Yeah, but you know what I like? The places I usually go when they play R. Kelly, everybody start booing. So I guess I be around the right people, the right places.
That's hilarious.
A lot of the time people would just be like, hell no, not no damn R. Kelly.
I haven't been out at large when they do it. I've been with like old folks who. Yeah. But I'm curious.
They played it at my cousin's graduation party. This was before the pandemic, so like 2 years ago. I was like,
where people
it's a hole that R. Kelly got on the particularly the Congolese community. They always play. He was a big star.
That is the most randomest thing ever.
Mm-hmm. Big star.
Congo rock with Robert Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another point of contention in all of this is honestly generally older black women, period. And I only speak for the black community, or not for the black community in regards to the black community, because that's the community I belong to. I don't know what they got going on over there on the west side, Asian, I don't know what y'all got going on. But in the black community, I do see a lot of time older black women can be the enemy of progress. Granted, they're not as bad as the people that do the actions, but to support and defend and come to the rescue of these people is just as bad. Sometimes it could be. It's just as damaging.
Yeah.
But that's not to put the blame all on them.
Yeah.
Like people like Felicia Rashad.
That was sad. That actually was.
It wasn't sad to me because she's been doing this.
But I don't be in tune with what she be doing.
I remember early on when all these allegations came out and we really saw this man's true colors. She was on his side. I was like, not you.
Ooh.
I'm like, do you know that y'all are not really married? Like that was a show. You literally got paid to be there. Like,
yeah.
What do you gain from this?
It's probably just like the soft spot that people have for someone who gave them a chance. Just like, okay,
and you got your bread and you that was 50,000 years ago.
Boom,
we're talking about people that was literally drugged,
and
then taken advantage of,
But
you're like, oh, but he did, so fucking what?
What was her sentiment? Like he did do good things otherwise, or she was just saying he just didn't do it?
Yeah. Even her tweet, like finally free, a huge disservice was something, whatever the fuck she said. I was like,
oh, miscarriage of justice. I did see. Yeah.
So you're basically saying that you do not believe these women, and she knew she was wrong because she turned off her comments, but they still ate her up in her post. She had 16,000 replies to that tweet and like 800 retweets. They was cutting into her, and then she did a follow up where she tried to say like, oh, this is nothing against like the victims or nothing like that. I believe them, but no, you don't, because you just
What?
said that it was a miscarriage of justice. So you're saying that didn't happen. I don't believe you, and it sucks to it come from women like that, because you look up to these women, you admire them. They, you know, a lot of times, especially back in the day, celebrities were you know, a huge pillar of the Black community. Like, you know, they near feel like your aunties and your mamas and shit.
Yeah.
And then as you grow up, they're like, oh, okay, they on bullshit too. Okay, next. So it was really sad to see. Granted, I already knew, but it was like, damn, you still on that?
Yeah, I feel like
after he confessed, that'd be my point. Fuck everything else. Fuck your relationship. Fuck everything else. He said he did the shit.
Yeah.
So where do we go from there?
Yeah.
So what are you gonna say? No, he didn't do that, but he said he did.
It's like, yeah, I don't understand. Where was the miscarriage of justice? Like, okay, I understand the thing about, okay, you weren't supposed to bring in evidence from X, Y, and Z, but okay,
she wasn't talking about that.
But right. One, she wasn't talking about that, but two, he confessed though. So like, even if you weren't supposed to know about the 60 million other women that he did it to, you know that he did it to this one. He said he did it. So like, I don't understand where the confusion lies. Yeah. Her sentiment though echoes to me, and we have expressed our frustrations with like older people in our community plenty, but the concept of just coddling men, and I feel like I usually see it in the context of someone older coddling a young man and not letting them.
It's always a young man. No one protects young Black girls. No one protects Black women.
Never.
It's always the men.
It's
and
like,
they be the ones doing the wrong. How are you?
It's always in their eyes, but it's always like, okay, he can do no wrong in my eyes. And I also think that people, in at least the parenting context, people perceive their child's actions as a reflection of them. And when their child be out in the world tweaking, they be like, oh no, he not doing that because like that's my child. But I don't know why there's such a disconnect between a Black woman and her daughter. Yeah. Like, why is it that when she does something, it's like, she a hoe, she this, she that. But when it's a boy, it's like, my son would never do anything that crazy.
Also, this is I always think this is a weird concept, because I never think, I don't think parents should feel this way, but it's like a weird sense of a competition that comes between
we've talked,
mothers and daughters.
And
I feel like weird. As much as that's meant to hinder us, it really does, because we do be having issues when we grow up. But I think it does serve as a catalyst for you to not be like that person. Get the fuck away from that person.
When you peep, that's the thing. It's like, oh, then you can move.
Because then you start hearing in a type, like, you'll ask your parent for advice, and it's like, it'll either turn into some other shit, or it's like super discouraging, but not discouraging where it's like based on A, B, and C fact. It's just discouraging.
Just don't do that. Just stop.
It's always something to stop you in this track. Something for you to not be better than them. And it's hard for me to wrap my head around that concept, because this is your child.
I've heard a lot of people like share this sentiment.
It's like, you want them to be better than you. That's how
generations
that's progression. That's how it's supposed to be, but you're seeing your child as competition.
And I think in theory, people be like, oh yeah, I want them to be better, but like, not too much though.
Not better than me.
Or be better than the people around us, so that I can brag, but like not me. And that is sick. So,
and that's why women don't get protected. That, and just the hatred of women, period.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I understand the hatred more than I understand the competition thing. You hate me just because I'm a girl? Okay.
But
you competing with me?
That's deeply rooted.
We like 20 years apart. Why is you competing with someone 20 years your junior? Let's start there. We growing up in two different fucking worlds. I'm gonna wait till this passes, and then I'm We're growing up in two different worlds. In your world, all you had to do was be a mom and a wife. Nothing wrong with that. It's amazing. Shout out to all the mommies and the wifeys out there. I'm growing up in a world where all these doors are now open. Why wouldn't you want me to walk through that? To be better, to be anything I want to be. Yeah, we still have like misogyny and stuff like that, but a lot of barriers have been broken. Yeah. Thanks to the women that came before us. And we love that. And we want to take advantage of those opportunities. Yeah. But you're like, oh, well, I ain't have this. Well, yeah, we know that. Y'all the ones that broke the fucking door.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
People don't be as, what's the word? They should be gassed. They're not as honored as they ought to be. Like, just be grateful that you did something and it brought someone somewhere so that they could go to the next place and the next place, instead of like, well, I couldn't.
Right.
Or, I don't know. People have very weird things.
And that's just for women, though. The man, you could sell as much as you want to because that's what you're supposed to do.
We have a lot of things to work on in our community in general, but yeah, coddling men. With Felicia Rashad, she's coddling a grown man. Like,
niggas
really?
life about to end in the next 20 years. Grown.
And also, like, he's not the personality that he was on TV.
He's not.
He's
What's
like
him on TV?
Bill Cosby. Well, no, he played
Huxtable.
Oh yeah. Cliff. No, I thought that was one of those shows. Just ignore me. I thought it was one of those where he kept the name.
No, he's
Clifford
not Cliff.
Huxtable.
He's
Bill Cosby. She probably was like, he was never acting like that on set in the scene when, like, after they said action.
Right. To you,
like,
probably. Because you got to keep the show going.
And I think there's even stories of him on set being
very much
off. So.
Very much so.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff gets swept under the rug, and we need to do better about that. In addition to, do you have anything else about celebrities before we?
I think.
If it comes up, we can just.
I think that's it about celebrities.
Okay. In addition to things getting swept under the rug for celebrities, there's also a lot of sweeping under the rug for family members and people that we know in real life.
There's something going on over here too when I was coming in.
It's been,
just say that whole part again because
it's been very active.
Yeah.
It's giving summertime Chicago. Okay. So in addition to people sweeping things under the rug for celebrities and giving passes and coddling and things like that, I think it's important to talk about like abusers in real life.
Yeah.
Family members, family friends. I was in a group chat earlier and some of my friends were saying like, these are the people who, like Felicia Rashad, these are the people who be like, okay, go and put on a sweatsuit or whatever because your uncle is coming over or something like that. Just like making can't wear shorts, can't do X, Y, and Z. Just making room for abusers to just be themselves and just being like, okay, well, he's gonna do that, so let me just. It's like no, nobody ever checks those people in the family. It's just kind of understood like, okay, that's just how they are. So let me just, don't be alone with them or don't.
It'd be stuff like it's like the most illogical shit. You're telling me I'm here sitting here minding my business. All I have is my legs out. You act like I'm naked, and even if you were, that's your business.
Yeah.
But you're saying that I'm in my house chilling, doing me. Boy, this guy's coming. He be a little. So you should do this.
Yeah.
How about you stop inviting him over?
Yeah.
How about you stop putting your kids in the way of danger? No one ever thinks like that.
Yeah.
It's so illogical to me.
Yeah.
If I were to have children, and and I think like, damn, this person's coming over, my kids better be covered up. That person's not coming over.
You cannot.
House.
Yeah.
You're not getting inside. I don't give a fuck who you are, brother, cousin, dad, anybody. I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not finna come in here if I feel like you about to be on that weird shit.
And it's so interesting that people will exercise like cancel culture at large. Like, okay, this person said this thing, cancel them. But you didn't cancel the actual abusers in your life. You're telling your kids to put on some sweatpants so that they could be around. Like, what makes you even want to be around someone like that? Like, are we separating their morals with you from their identity as an abuser at large? Like, what?
And that's why when people say like, "Oh, how did no one know that was going on?" They do. They just didn't care.
It's literally people.
Let's just be honest about that. People don't care. They are more invested in their relationship with that person or their proximity to that person. I don't really care about what's happening until it happens to them, and even then, that's a maybe.
Yeah.
Even in the R. Kelly documentary, the one lady, I forgot her name, but she brought her niece around R. Kelly, and I think she was the girl in the video. I think her name was Sparkle. Was that Sparkle?
I forget. She went to high school with my sister, though. I always say,
Yeah, it was Sparkle. And then she was sitting there. I was like, first of all, why you bring your young ass niece around this old ass man?
Yeah.
Let's start there. I'm like, I was looking at her weird. Everybody else had a case, but her.
Any adults, okay, just like echoing the sentiment you had about Aaliyah's family, like any adult who will have their young girl, cousin, daughter, whatever, around somebody old like that, you're a problem too. Yeah, so it's like, don't think that we're not talking about you too. Yes. You're very much included.
Because there's nothing an older man should want with a younger person.
Nothing.
It's not a preference.
It's a disease. You're sick.
You're sick as fuck. And you need to be stoned. But that's not legal here. So you need to go to jail.
Okay, in the similar vein, like some people would say, so I'm going to go into ways that people like try to defend abusers, and we'll just explain how they're stupid. People would say, like in the R. Kelly instance, they'd be like, these girls just want to be famous. Like, have you heard that?
Yeah.
Well, people probably do want to be famous, but like that doesn't mean abusive. That doesn't mean like, okay, yeah, like go way too far or coax them into doing things. It's like, I mean, the girls want to be singers. Like, let the girls sing. Like they don't have to.
You the weird one. I hear people try to make other people seem weird. No, you're the weird one.
Right. They're like, like they were just chasing fame. If you had a voice, you'd be chasing fame too. But that don't mean that you want
just like how R. Kelly was chasing fame to become who he is. He didn't use that position to prey on people.
Yeah, it's sick. There's another thing people say that like they're setting themselves up to be abused. So we see this often in the context of like women and how they dress and places they go. There is no such thing as setting yourself up to be abused. Yeah. Like just
because literally I've always never really had hope in humanity of anything or source. I really think we have outlived our time on all of this. Is just, like when you be at school and school over, everybody going home, but you don't want to go home because you got some shit going on. I feel like that's what I feel about humans.
That in between,
it's where we've gone way too far.
We're done here. That's your sentiment. Gone long time ago.
Yes, that's why I feel like the earth is trying to get us off of here because it's
just like, all right, y'all took it too far.
But when I saw, it was literally something month old baby was raped.
What?
That's when, yeah. That actually kind of happens pretty often now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, a baby, like a less than 12 month old.
Oh, you said old baby. Are you?
Less than 12 months.
Oh my God, what?
Less than 12-month-old baby was raped. What? The baby was probably wearing a onesie. So how did that baby then set themselves up to get raped?
I'm sick to my stomach at this.
So when people say stuff like that, it's like, how did someone like that? How did an 8-year-old set themselves up to get raped? How did, for example, when Muslim women wear their full like culture wear, how did they set themselves up to get raped? How did an older woman set themselves up to get raped?
And even
how did just anybody set themselves up to get raped?
A bikini and a thong with nothing on, like you're not
exactly. How did someone walking home with their headphones on set themselves up to get raped?
Yeah.
How did someone at their job set themselves up to get raped?
Like it just is not
you can be doing anything and still get raped, molested, abused, any type of violence. Because men don't see us as people. They see us as objects that they can just do stuff to. And especially like with street harassment, if you don't give them any type of time, then they become violent. Like, oh, you a bitch, or you not even cute. All this other stuff because they feel like we owe them something. Yeah. They can't see us and then being on the same playing field because they're men and we're women. So we must always, fulfill their desires. We must always, It's all about power. It's not even about the sex. It's about the power. They want to have power over someone, which is why anybody on any spectrum can face violence from men, because they're just inherently violent people. And that's just my thoughts on that, because there's proof. There's evidence to back it up.
Drops mic. Boom. That's it.
That's my thoughts on that. So you wear whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Start K-wording these niggas.
Yeah, there's no such thing as setting yourself up to be abused.
Yep.
In a lot of these cases, and I mentioned this earlier, they have been doing the whole like America is just trying to attack another black man, trying to keep the black man down. That's their favorite thing to say. I'm here to tell you that is not what's going on.
But you know what? If you are this type of black man, you know what? I'm gonna join with America. I'm gonna hold you back too. Amen. And that's my philosophy on
I'm gonna join with America.
I'm gonna join with America and hold you back.
It's just that's such a gaslighting thing to say for anyone who hasn't listened to all of our episodes when we talk about gaslighting, but the gaslight is to manipulate someone. So for you to do something foul, something heinous, and then for someone to call it out and you be like, that's just America trying to hold me back. Like they want to break up the black family. No, you want to break up the black family.
Whole nother topic right there. Ooh, we gotta get into that one because I got some things to get off my chest.
The black family?
Mm-hmm. And how people talking about the black family is like, yeah, we gotta talk about that one day.
Talking about how it's what?
You know, how you just said.
Just
how, America be trying to break up the black family.
Yeah, but let's talk about who really won.
But no one talks about the niggas with 10 households. Bro.
Alrighty, yeah. Another episode. Stay tuned for next
But yes, America is trying to break down the black family. Yes, ma'am, and the gays, of course.
That's hilarious. And then the last one I had is that they're setting somebody up. So, they put him in a position to be,
free will. That's why you're human. You make decisions when you're in a predicament. You choose A, you choose B. A has a consequence, B has a consequence. Good or bad, you decide. Yeah. You know that. It's a conscious decision.
Yeah.
Why are you choosing to be violent?
Always. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Why are you choosing to be violent?
Yeah. If you heard any of these, so like, they're trying to hinder the black man and they put themselves in a position, or the man was in a compromising position. I mean, what would you have done under those circumstances? Like, if you're one of those people who says those things, just know that you are an enabler.
Yeah.
And you probably have hella abusers around you, and you just let them fly.
Yeah. And, like, people who are, like, friends with abusers, they know that. They try to act dumb, but you'll hear a lot of, I'm not saying that women are absolved from being abusers. That's totally a fact that can happen. But the large majority. We're going to focus on the large majority today. But men will hear their friends say some wild ass shit and be like, damn, bro, you crazy.
That's
so true. You ain't know your friend was an abuser.
That's so true.
They would sit there and watch their friend beat on their girl.
And be like,
well, bro, shit.
I don't want to be
I'll fuck with you later.
People, oh my God, it's so interesting, like what's that word for it? I think dissonance, like how somebody will be like, they'll be like, oh my God, like their friend will be beating on their chick, and it's like, oh my God, that's not my business. Yeah. But then they on the shade room under all the posts commenting like, ooh, that's like, wait,
commenting on Lil Nas X.
Literally, so is it your business?
Lil Nas X? The fuck that got to do with you? You should be minding your business then.
Yeah, it's strange. So, yeah, I think it's interesting how everybody knows someone who's been abused, but yet nobody, quote unquote, knows an abuser. It's like...
So who's doing the abusing?
Literally, like, so I think people just give their friends so much grace and they just like, okay, yeah, that's just my homie and that's just how he is. But it's like, that's a problem.
And also, why are you around someone that is like that?
Yeah. Birds of a feather.
There's not a shortage of friends last time I checked. Lots of other things. Glass, chicken. Friends, no.
Yeah, there's plenty of humans out here for you to be cool with.
And you actively choose your friends. And it's another thing. Niggas love to say, you hang with hoes, you a hoe. But if we say you hang with abusers, or
you an abuser, it's like,
are you a rapist? Then you a molester? Then it's like,
no,
that ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay, so what does? Also, that's a whole other topic. The whole thing, whatever. So what if I want to hang out with a hoe? What they gotta do with anything? How you know she a hoe?
And how do you define hoe?
When someone is doing whatever they want with their consenting body. I just call that men being insecure and not minding their business. It's a lot of places men should be, but women's business is not part of that. You could be at work.
I thought you were going to say war.
No.
That too.
Yes, you could be at war. Where are the niggas that are going to war at?
Where are the military men?
You know, you could be just minding your business, but women's business is where they often choose to go.
It's sick. It's sick. People just be, I don't know, people are just addicted to being judgmental. They're addicted to possessing things. I think that like at the root of like a lot of problems that men have with women is just their need to control. It's like, okay, I need my woman to do X, Y, and Z and B. It's like, she's a whole human that's separate from you. Doing like what?
Own thing. And I think this also, it like goes all the way back to just like early human, whatever. Like how women were, you know, the whole concept of marriage was born out of like, you know, wanting property, and women was that vessel. And even going down like having gender roles, women are supposed to do this, and men were always placed on a higher pedestal. So as we're progressing through the world, and we're like, hold up, men not that smart. Why is they up there? Yeah. And we're like just like really just analyzing things, and we're like, that don't sound right. I think I just need to do my own thing. Be in control of my body, you know, be a professional or not, or be a stay-at-home mom. Just be a person that makes their own decisions.
Right.
That's when men started having the problem with us.
Yes.
Before then, no, I don't think they had much problem.
But we were servants.
Yeah.
We were a vessel for a child, and we were servants. Like having a brain and thoughts and opinions, that wasn't really part of. Yeah. And that's how they're raised. And to this day, a lot of men are raised like that. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, a woman should be seen, not heard. Yeah. And woo-woo, like, it's 2021. What is she, like a dog or something? What the fuck? That's the sentiment. You're a pet. You're a family friend. Like, what?
But then if you ask them, if you do want to be like a woman that's like seen and not heard, you ask them to provide. They can't do that.
I was just going to say.
Okay, but if you want me to be quiet... Give me somebody.
Yeah, we talked about that. I was just gonna. That's my favorite one to bring up. Can you build a house? Can you help me put something together? Can you
play my automobiles? No, you don't even want to do that. They be paying about $20 days, $30 days. Bro, I'd rather go with my girlfriends, bro. At least we get appetizers and drinks.
Ooh, and no questions about who's gonna pay. Just split it. Love that.
Appetizers and multiple drinks. I love going out with the girls. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and you get to be cute, and it's for you to feel cute, not to feel like...
Right. Not to say some men don't be coming through, because they do.
Yeah, and if you got one who come through, then...
Stay where you at, baby girl.
Because...
it's real slim out here. Or baby boy.
Right.
Or baby them.
Baby them.
Yeah.
Stay where you're at.
Because the pickings are slim.
The pickings are interesting, and then you look at it in the context of like stuff like this. Yeah. People's brains be fried. Like, it's people online right now like, my dude Bill Cosby free. What are you saying? Like, you could see somebody cute and think they got it together, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're in your timeline talking about my dude free.
I saw this tweet. It was like, niggas will say no to their girl all day just to say yeah to their big bro.
But it's true. It's true. But I think that the way that men are conditioned to think about women is so off,
it's vile.
Wrong, foul. Like, they see women as literally a vessel for sex or cooking or carrying whatever.
A baby.
All that
they are
stuff.
Then not held accountable for taking care of her.
But with their friends, they can build these emotional connections, and they can hang out with them, and they can. It's like, so you.
The way they comment on their friends' pictures, bro.
100, 100, 100.
I love you, bro.
Gas
That's my heart. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. But it's just like, isn't that same energy to like women?
Meanwhile, like it's a girl who rocking with you and you never tell her she pretty.
Nothing. you be trying to humble her. Every single time y'all together, you want to humble her. I'm like, but then with big bro, man, I love you, shorty. That's my heart. That's my world. Okay, y'all go together.
That could be a whole episode on men trying to humble women because, I have some stories.
Maybe we'll make that a thing.
We should make that a thing.
Because that show low-key should have been I Just Want to Be Successful.
Oh, low-key.
That could have been a sub.
Yeah.
Sub.
Because I got stories. Get ready to be exposed. No, okay. But in conclusion, start checking the people you know because you're weak if you have abusers around you and you don't say nothing and you act like things are normal because they are literally somewhere abusing someone, and that's foul.
Yeah.
Stop victim shaming and saying that people asked for it or they put themselves in a position to be abused, or if she was around a celebrity, she knew what that came with. No, nobody asked to be abused in any way. And then this last one really blows me.
What?
Stop basing the compassion that you have for people like off the fact that you have a mother, a sister, or auntie. So like even if you're like like that's wrong of Bill Cosby because I have a sister and I would never want anyone to do that to my sister. It's like, so if you didn't have a sister,
what are you saying?
You wouldn't know that was foul?
Yeah, I hate that sentiment too when they're like, that was someone's sister, mother, bro.
Someone's mom he abused.
So what, bro? That's someone. That's a human being.
But again, that's men seeing women only through the lens of what are you to me? What can you do for me? What role did you play in my world? That's my sister, so you shouldn't abuse her.
It's like, as much as we progress as humans, we haven't progressed much. When you really, really think about it, we haven't progressed in months because there's people that in Washington, D.C. that talk about whether or not we should be able to take birth control. Yeah. Whether or not we should decide to terminate a pregnancy. Even if it can kill you. They'd rather you die than to kill a fetus. Yeah. That's not even a person.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's really sick out here.
And how much they tax us for tampons and, pads and shit that we can't control.
It's so difficult to fathom that things like that are not, like, given by the state. Like, everybody should get a box every month or something like that because we can't control
you need
that.
A care package every single month. But you know what's... I think this is covered under insurance, Viagra. So you're telling me your erectile dysfunction can then be covered by health care, but I can't get an abortion. I can't get, birth control sometimes, or I have to even when women want to get their tubes tied when they're young and they know for damn sure they don't want no kids.
They make you go through.
You gotta find the right motherfucking doctor.
You have to go through so many hoops. There was a girl who I went to law school. Well, let me not tell somebody's business, but yeah, they make you jump through a bunch of hoops. So, all right.
Some sick shit.
Yes, but okay. Thank you for listening to this episode of Smoldering Tea.
Yeah, we just
because the girls.
This was be 30 minutes, and here we are,
still talking an hour later. But yeah, follow us on social media at Read the Room Pod.
Boom.
Go ask us for advice. Oh my God, we have some people who asked us advice.
Let's do one
this time.
Yeah.
Oh Lordy.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, hold on. Alrighty, somebody submitted a question to us seeking our humble opinions. Okay, yes. And the question was this: should prostitution become legal? And then they gave the explanation. It allows single men to just pay for safe sex, prevents sex trafficking to some extent, and makes the job of a sex worker safe. What do you think?
I think, read those points to me again.
Allows, it says single men, but single people.
Yeah.
To just pay for safe sex, prevents sex trafficking to some extent, and makes the job of a sex worker safe.
I do think prostitution should be legal because I feel like if you have two consenting parties,
okay,
and one is saying that this is my service, this is how I choose to use
this
my
is
body,
what I offer.
That's not like none of my business. I think that should be totally okay. The part about it being safe, did that mention that?
Makes the job of a sex worker perhaps safer then.
Right. That I am on the fence about because it depends on how it's set up.
I would be curious. Yeah, like I feel like
to make it safe.
Yes.
Because then they could still experience violence
yes.
at the hands of their shooter. Is it somewhere where, you know, they're reporting who their Johns are or something like that? Then you have identity attached to it that if something does happen, they can track that person. But it's something that would still have to be in an anonymous fashion. But it's like, how do you do that?
That would be, you know, if we're going to do like the prostitution thing, like full throttle, would it be like prostitution parlors and then you sign in and then you know, like what, as long as it's like under the table type thing, like it is going to be, it's going to be unsafe. And like you said, there's no way to know that it would be necessarily safer, but you could at least have some like state mandated rules, requirements, and things like that.
Yeah.
But
although I think it should be, I just don't know if it solves any of the issues.
You're saying what?
I think it might even discourage people, I think.
From going?
Because then they lose that while they want to have sex and while they want to have anonymity, they still want to have power over someone. That's how a lot of these people, mostly men, operate. Yeah. So then when you then take that away,
it's like
they don't want that because they want, just in case they want to beat on you, you're not going to go sentence because you're going to get arrested. They're not going to get arrested. You're going to get arrested for soliciting sex or not soliciting sex for, like, you know, being a prostitute.
Right.
So it's like, I think that will hurt business in a sense. So it's like, dang, that's kind of a hard call because I want them to be safe, but I feel like the safety only comes from having good partners. Yeah. And then people actually be prosecuted for being violent against the women, but we know the people above us don't care about that type of stuff. They don't care about our safety. Yeah. So it's like,
the whole thing is, I don't know. I don't have an answer to the question in general. Like, I don't know. Like, what would that look like? And what is it? I don't know. Then do you have rules? Like, okay, at a certain age you can. Because there's a lot of people with fetishes. So then we're going to have little younger people trying. Like,
even though right there, that's rape.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, so on her 17th birthday at 11:59, you can do it. But on 1 minute later, you can. Then it's like, okay, how young does it go? And I don't know.
That's also, that ties into another topic of like people that are predators that hide behind the law.
They hide behind the law, like, oh, I mean, technically she's 18. It's like, you're 57. There's no reason you should be, but you know, but it's not based on how far away y'all are in age. It's based on you meeting.
I think that should be something that should be addressed or introduced as a law too. I'm gonna be honest, because I think it's very weird that people are like 10, maybe 20 years and you're like older than these 18, 20, 21-year-old like young folks, and you're like trying to be with them.
I think that's weird too, but then at what point?
Yeah, because we're saying like you're an adult.
Yeah, so if you say like,
it gets really blurry.
It's so confusing because it's like, if you say they can't have 20 years, so okay, an 18-year-old can't be with like a 40-year-old. Boom. Okay, but like a 30-year-old could be with a 50-year-old, right?
That's true.
50 with a 70. So this is why the law itself is so complex and confusing. But anyway, all of that to say, I don't have an answer. That was a good question though.
I do think it needs to be safer, but that's gonna just come from the people themselves, I think. Or unless, they want to introduce legislation that's not going to make the prostitutes the actual villains in the story. Yeah. Which is what we usually have.
Not y'all husbands who creeping out on the side. Well, anyways, we're going to have to address all those things in a separate episode because clearly we have thoughts about it. Yeah. All right. But yes.
That's it.
Thank you so much for listening. I had already said the emails before we got to giving advice.
Fuck with us on the socials. Did you do the socials?
Yep. At Read the Room Pod. Follow us. Ask us for advice.
Leave comments. Watch her YouTube videos, please.
Please, bro.
Watch her. I commented. Y'all should do it. Y'all should do it too.
Make a comment. You should make a comment too. Okay, thank you.
See y'all here. Whatever. What I be trying to say? Hear y'all next. Y'all gonna hear us next time. That don't sound too inviting. Okay, bye.
Talk to you next time.
Yes.